What up, homies? It's your boy Stev, and welcome to the bracket. Back in 2020, like most of the world, me and Ash didn't have a lot going on, so we decided to make a list of the 130 greatest movies of all time and pit them against each other, tournament style, to see which ones came out on top. We judged them against each other in 5 categories: production, writing, acting, originality, and rewatchability. Whichever movie took the most categories moved on. Don't get me wrong, it was rarely unanimous between us, but it was always a lot of fun. Just a heads up, we did record these a few years ago, so if the timeline feels a bit weird, that's why. If you want to check out the list of the 130 movies, I'll put a link to our website in the description below. So without further ado, let's all go back to the land of 2020, where all we did was sit at home, drink excessively, and watch flicks. Enjoy. A number of episodes ago, I was of the opinion that Citizen Kane and Casablanca were like pouring my heart out here, Ashley.
Sorry. I thought you were just talking to me.
Well, I'm talking to everybody. A number of weeks ago, we did Casablanca versus Citizen Kane, and I said during that episode that was like the heavy hitter episode. Like, when it comes to film circles, that is 2 of the greatest films ever created, right? I'm of the opinion that this matchup that's coming up right now is 2 of the greatest films ever created. Like, it's not just like film circles, it's my own personal, like, these 2 films are fucking masterpieces. Both of them. Same director, completely different from each other. Kind of similar cast. Not really. Scratch that. But yeah.
They are, though.
Yeah, there's a similar cast and stuff, but Godfather takes on Apocalypse Now. It's like, holy fucking shit. Like, did you watch them back to back?
No, I put Taxi Driver in the middle.
Okay. I was going to say, because how fucking heavy hitter did those 2 movies feel? Like, talk about 2 heavy hitter fucking movies. Dude, like imagine Muhammad Ali fighting Muhammad Ali. You know what I mean? Like, just fucking boom. What did you think?
First off, I have not seen either one.
Which is awesome.
So, Most people have never really met anybody that haven't seen really The Godfather because it's such a big movie.
100%.
I found The Godfather to be very dry and very long and very boring until I watched Apocalypse Now.
Oh, get out.
So now I don't mind The Godfather. Godfather can stay. So we're back to, I think it was I said during Schindler's List was, there were so many parts of the movie that could have been cut.
Okay.
That's how I feel about both of them.
No, you're crazy.
Okay, no, go ahead. Speak your truth. Go ahead.
No, I want you to finish before I go on a tangent.
That's about it. Like,
okay, what do you think could be cut? I could see maybe Apocalypse Now has a few scenes, but Godfather, what do you think you could cut out of that movie?
Hold on, you're like interviewing me. I gotta think. That's a long ass boring movie. Hold on.
Because without spoiling anything, obviously.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, you're giving me a good point because everything kind of goes back into everything.
Yeah, I'm of the opinion that,
and I can't really say it without spoilers. So maybe
okay,
we'll come back to that question.
All right. Okay, so I do
Apocalypse Now, definitely.
Yeah. So okay. I listened to something once. It was like an essay, and it was about writing and like the difference between like. I mean, that's the thing. It's not really necessarily good writing and bad writing because there's some bad writing. There's some good writing that does this, right? But
okay.
Some of the best writing, what they do is, it's not just I have a list of things I have to check off. Do you know what I mean? It's like I want a scene that does this, and then I want a scene that does this. I want a scene that does this. Like some movies are like that, right? But good writing, the way it's supposed to be, is every scene you have to put in the middle
therefore or but. Do you see what I'm saying? You know who actually the people who actually created this style of writing, or not really created, but like the essay was about them. The people who write South Park, Matt Stone, Trey Parker, actually, maybe that's why their episodes are so tight, right? It's like every scene, like this happens, therefore this next scene happens, or this happens, but this happens instead. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay. So every scene you can either go left or right. And if you write like that and you build it that way, it's impossible to remove a scene without it fucking everything else up.
So, because of something happened in the beginning of The Godfather, that's why the middle scene happened, because that first scene had to happen.
Exactly.
And so it's a rollover. And then the ending happened.
It's dominoes. Exactly. Whereas...
But he did that to like 12 different people.
And that's true.
So the whole movie is just circles and circles and revenge and then revenge and then circles and circles.
And that's true. There is a lot of going back and forth with revenge that I could see you. It's like, okay, well, this happens, which is why they have to take this guy out, but then he takes somebody else out. So
it's like, why did that middle part have... It should have just went from the ending result the first time.
Okay.
Where it's like, I'm not spoiling it, where it's like, you beat up someone because they did something, and you're like, okay, well, if it was worth killing them, why don't you kill them the first time? Because now they did it again, and then you're going to kill them.
Yeah.
Like,
okay, that's what you're saying.
But they know people.
Yeah.
That's their thing. This family knows people, and they know what these people are going to do.
Yeah.
They already know their next step before we even do it.
It's like a game of chess, right? Whereas I find Apocalypse Now is very... This happens, this happens, this happens. Like, you can literally take any scene out of Apocalypse Now, and it does not affect the story. The story is he's trying to get up the river to meet Captain Kurtz. Anything in between him getting the mission and him getting the Kurtz is fucking... I don't want to say nonsense, because I love it all, but it's like, it doesn't matter. It's
the movie is
white
3
noise.
Fucking
I know, and I loved every second of it.
So you're not the only one. I was telling people about this mashup, and they were like, no, like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Like our very, very, very last mashup in this entire tournament is you with this one.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm going to do that very last one.
Oh, you talking about the
very last. Yeah. That is going to hurt me very, very bad.
Yeah.
Because those are my two ride or die movies.
I hear you.
So I know what you are going through with these two. So it's good that I'm here to kind of say, like, I've never seen either one. Let me just...
Yeah, you're kind of like a blank slate. You're kind of like a...
Like a test subject, almost. Unfortunately, though, this beginning part is very boring because I can't say anything.
It's true.
So we're going to have...
Okay.
This is more for a spoiler section.
Okay.
But please, no, like, any scene, you let me know. What do you think?
No, I mean, I agree with you that this is going to be very spoiler-heavy.
It's 3 hours of spoilers from each movie.
Yeah,
like,
it's true.
I can't even, like, explain anything because from the beginning scenes on, it's intense.
It's true. Okay, I mean, the only thing I could really say really is I do hear what you're saying. They're both really long movies. And even the whole, you could have cut shit out of, like, The Godfather. In all honesty, I was actually thinking about it. I mean, is it a spoiler if it happens halfway through the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. It's hard to tell. Okay, yeah. We're just gonna...
Well, especially with The Godfather, because we just said we circle
Fuck it. Yeah. Let's just do points. So I can be really depressed for the next half an hour.
You're going to get torn apart for the next, like, hour.
Because I'm going to be honest, I'm going to just dead even it. I'm going to... Yeah, I can't... I'm going to...
Excuse me, sorry,
2.5.
1 second. I was going to block the pillow, and then I was like, no, he's going to think I sneezed in his pillow. I didn't.
Just sneeze in the pillow, it's fine.
I'm not going to sneeze in your pillow. It's your wife's pillow. I got another one.
But yeah, okay, so just before we even do points, both of these movies...
Sorry.
Just things to talk about before we get into spoilers. Number one, they're both based off of books.
Which I did not know.
Yeah, so The Godfather, based on a book by Mario Puzo. Puzo, I believe his last name. It's hard to say. And Apocalypse Now is based off a book called Heart of Darkness. And the thing that's interesting about Heart of Darkness is it has nothing to do with the Vietnam War. It takes place. It's a book from like the 1800s, and it's about a guy who is obsessed with this guy named Kurtz, who is I believe is an ivory trader. Like he hunts elephants in like Africa, I believe, and it's him. He's on a boat going upriver to meet Kurtz. So it's like the same fucking story,
right?
But they took that and they put it into the Vietnam War, and I'm like, I find that super interesting. That's kind of a cool idea. I like it when you take classic stories and you adapt them into something interesting like that.
But which would I prefer the book then? Because it wasn't probably so drawn on if they changed the story that much.
I'm gonna be honest, I have not read the book, so I have no idea. But
so I bet you I'd probably like the books. If it's not, I bet you the movies, because they changed it to fit what they wanted, that's what made it long and shitty for me. Not shitty. The movie was fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched it. That's step one. It's not the worst movie on this list. That's step two.
Okay. So another thing, like other things to talk about. I mean, obviously, The Godfather went on to become probably the greatest trilogy of films ever. Godfather Part 2 is equally as good, if not better, than the first one. And it's not on our list. And I could probably catch a lot of flack for that, but there's something about sequels that I was trying to stay away from, or like franchises. Like if I was going to do Godfather, I didn't want to do Godfather Part 2. Just like later on, I'm going to do Lord of the Rings. I don't want to do all 3 Lord of the Rings movies.
Well, there's also Star Wars.
Exactly.
You can't do all 4, 3, 8.
100%. And that's like, and even that, like I do, so Star Wars is later as well. But
Jurassic Park.
But I didn't do, like, even though my favorite Star Wars movie is The Empire Strikes Back, I still did the first Star Wars movie. It's just the way it is. Do you know what I mean? So it's like I wanted the first. I don't know. It's just one of those.
My favorite is the most hated, so it's okay.
Oh, that's not. We'll talk about that later. But that's the thing. So I decided on The Godfather instead of The Godfather Part 2.
Right.
Even though The Godfather Part 2 is probably a better movie. And Godfather Part 3 is not as good as the 2, but it's still really fucking good.
That means quite a bit if you said that the sequel is better than the...
I don't know why. I really, really like Robert De Niro. He's like the actor Robert De Niro, and he plays... So the movie is a prequel / sequel. So it's Michael kind of taking power, but like this is kind of what this movie's about too. Oh fuck, I'm getting way into spoilers. But anyway, let's just say it's the prequel part of it is Don Corleone when he's younger and coming up, and him like.
But Robert De Niro's not in this one.
Robert De Niro plays young Don Corleone, so like him when he's like in his 30s. Oh. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's like maybe 20s, but like so it's. Well,
I know he went out for Sonny, I think, in
I believe
Godfather.
He did.
So I know he tried to squeeze in the first one, didn't make it, so he squeezed again.
I think James Caan is fucking perfect as Sonny Corleone in Godfather. I think he's so good. And then, so here's the thing. So if you like The Godfather, watch Godfather Part 2 and 3 because they're pretty fucking good. If you like Apocalypse Now, I cannot recommend enough a documentary called Heart of Darkness. The same name as the book. Maybe it's Hearts of Darkness. It doesn't matter. And what it is it's the documentary about the making of Apocalypse Now that is more interesting than Apocalypse Now is. Because it's like, they went through fucking hell getting this movie made. Like, he ran out of money so many times. Like, they spent fucking years making this movie. Like, they went through, it was fucking the shit.
Well, it's a war movie.
Yeah.
What did you expect?
And that's it. So, like, but they did, okay. So, example, a fun fact, I'm trying to remember what his name is. Is it Soap? Lawrence Fishburne, either way. The young kid on the boat.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about? The youngest member of the boat crew, I believe maybe his name Clean or something like that, but either way, played by a very, very young Lawrence Fishburne. Lawrence Fishburne you probably recognize from The Matrix. Like Morpheus. He's in a lot. He's in a fucking shitload of movies. But
he was really young.
yeah, he was 14 years old when he did this movie. Yeah, he lied and he said he was 17 years old to get hired. So they hired him. So there was a 14-year-old kid playing a 17-year-old kid. by the time the movie was done, he was over the age of 17.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it's like that's how long it took them to make this movie. It's like they went through so much shit, and then they finally like get to like the Marlon Brando shit in Apocalypse Now, and he shows up and he's supposed to be like this jacked fucking huge, and he's like 50 pounds overweight, doesn't know his lines. He's just like mumbling every day. They're like, what the fuck? But I'm of the opinion that it works. Like, I love all this shit with Marlon Brando, but it's a very interesting documentary.
Is that
couldn't
why
recommend it
you
more.
put them both together? Was because of the similar actors?
Well, they're both directed by the same guy, Francis Ford Coppola.
And he just used the same. Because I know when he brought up to have Marlon as Vito, the company said no.
Really?
They didn't want him. And he fought and fought and fought, and finally they let him. And then now, as like someone who hasn't seen it and watched it, I can't picture anybody else being Vito. It's his voice. His voice can... It's irritating, but somehow can put me to sleep. It's like this weird...
It's so soft,
The cat is so cute.
And then even like him as Colonel Kurtz is fucking really good.
Right.
And then, I mean, I fucking love Robert Duvall as Tom Hagen, as the conciliar. Conciliars? I don't know the word. But he's fucking the shit in Apocalypse Now. As the guy on the beach. The colonel on the beach, with the surfing. I love how like they're flying and then fucking bombs are going off. It's like, no, don't worry about the bombs. You see those waves? You see that? He is such a fucking interesting character, and I love like there's one line that they have where it's like a bomb goes off right beside him, and everybody ducks except for him. It's like. It took me 5 seconds to realize this guy was going to survive this war without a scratch on him. And it's like so true. He's just that guy. And it's like, oh, he's such an interesting...
He was like delegating to everybody what to do.
Yeah. And he's just, and I love, there's like the one scene where it's like, you're too afraid to surf. I'll surf myself. And he like rips his shirt off and he's got like the little dickie on. And he fucking rips that off. So funny. And I love it when they steal the surfboard.
Yeah.
And then he's like, we just want the surfboard back. Like, stuff like that. Like, just, he is such a fucking ridiculous character. But it's like two completely different characters. Like, he goes from being like the smartest person in the room to being like kind of the dumbest in a weird way. But like, oh, he's so interesting.
Still controlling, though.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's actually very funny because like a common theme in... with his character, coming through line with his character in Godfather is he's not strong enough. Whereas in Apocalypse Now, that's all he is strength, which is very funny, right? So
because everybody looks up to him, kind of thing.
But yeah, and then I mean, also just a quick shout out to fucking Martin Sheen as the main character was Willard from Apocalypse Now. We just started watching the new Mighty Ducks show.
I don't even know.
They did like a new Mighty Ducks show, and I can't fucking. So I literally watched Apocalypse Now, and then Melissa, like my wife Melissa, was like, "Oh, let's watch Mighty Ducks." I'm like, okay. Emilio Estevez looks so fucking much like Martin Sheen, right?
Really?
Yeah, like Emilio Estevez, like obviously his dad, right? But like so much like him. But yeah, I mean, it was a good fucking weekend for me for these two movies. I really enjoyed watching them both. I mean, and here's the thing. So I just got brand new speakers. Like my speaker system is spectacular. And the first movie I threw on was Apocalypse Now. And there's a scene, it opens with the helicopter. And I heard it behind me on the left. And then behind me on the right. And then in front of me on the left. And then you see the helicopter go by. And then you hear boom, 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 boom. And it was fucking spectacular. I'm like, yes, money well fucking spent.
That's like my favorite meme right now, which is like, what is more dangerous than a child with adult money? It's so true. Like,
no, it is 100%
the most
true.
stupidest stuff that I can buy now just because I can. Like, it's that right there is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because now we're coming over this weekend and watching Godzilla and Kong, and I'm like,
I'm excited.
Way too excited to hear the speaker system with that. That'll be good.
I can't wait for Mortal Kombat. That's the one that
I know,
really
and
looking
it's being
forward to.
pushed and pushed. And
I
pushed.
know it's fucking bullshit. But
I know.
That's okay.
Okay, so let's get on to my point system then.
All right. So I'm going to throw it out there just right off the bat. My points, I'm going to go dead even. 2.5, 2.5. Like I can even point it out for you. Like I have to give writing to Godfather, and I have to give rewatchability to Godfather. But I have to give originality because, like I said, it's based off of that book, and I think I love that when they like take like old stories and they like update them. I'm a big fan, and because of that documentary production of Apocalypse Now is just so much. Acting is where I split. I think the acting is amazing on both. I could not pick. I gotta give it 2.5, 2.5. So this is literally up to you.
Okay. We're doing that again. So, production, I'm going to give it to Apocalypse Now. Because The Godfather is literally just scheming and talking in rooms.
It's true. But at the same time, not to argue against Apocalypse Now, but like, it's a period piece. Right? It's a period piece. Movie was made in the 70s. It takes place in the 50s. You know what I mean? But it's also very possible that you probably just wouldn't have noticed that because...
No, I didn't. Well, I'm just picturing, like... So the problem with war movies for me is that Game of Thrones ruined something for me. And it's a specific episode. I'm not going to say what episode. But they spent, like, millions because it's a war scene. That, to me, made me realize, this is how much money war scenes are to make.
Yeah.
When I found that out, and all it is like, I don't know, like horse carriages on fire running around and people on fire running around. But apparently the amount of money is insane.
Yeah. Also, I mean, you got to point out, like, they don't make movies like this anymore where, like, there's fucking hundreds of people on that beach.
Right.
There are so many fucking people, like, just on that beach. Whereas, like, these days, it's like, we'll just have 10 people and then just computer animate them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
while back then they had, like, a point to prove almost.
100%.
So, like, that to me is why Apocalypse Now got it, was because I know how much time, effort, all of that it took to get the forest is beautiful, the rainforest they went to, everything. It's gorgeous. Writing is The Godfather for me.
Yeah.
Same with just me. How smart it is.
Yeah.
I loved it. Originality. Originality was hard. I gave it to The Godfather.
Okay.
Which is weird because I feel like there'd be more mafia movies more than there would be
There's
war
a
movies.
shitload of mafia movies. But I guess there's a lot of war movies too.
It's just the way it was written. Yeah. The fact that it had my attention for 3 hours, without barely touching my phone, that's something.
It's true.
Acting was another one. What did you give acting to? Both.
That's the one I split. I couldn't.
So I can see where you're going with that. I gave it to The Godfather because of how many feelings I felt. I felt sad when they were, and I felt happy when they were.
Okay. See, here's the thing, right? It's like, these are two movies that I've watched a lot. I've watched them a lot of times, right? I watched them a number of times, and I don't feel the emotions anymore. You know what I mean? I know, because I just know I know what's going to happen. I know kind of every beat, right? So it's hard. So I'm actually very curious which, maybe more
I definitely didn't cry or nothing like that. But I was like, oh, that sucks for that character. Like, I felt that.
Yeah.
I never felt that for, Apocalypse Now. I was like, all right, whatever. Buddy died. Oh, well.
Yeah. There's one moment where somebody dies in Apocalypse Now. And there's another, not even the main character, it's another character who I feel bad for because he just looks so devastated. It's like, actually, I will get into it in spoilers because it's fucking sad, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. But go ahead.
All right, remember that.
Yeah.
And rewatchability is, for both of us, The Godfather.
Okay, so Godfather wins.
Yeah, I definitely don't think I can watch Apocalypse Now. I'll explain it why again in the spoilers. But honestly, I don't think I can watch The Godfather tonight. But maybe in a year I'll watch all 3 because you just said I should.
They're fucking amazing. So I do recommend them. I know a lot of people say The Godfather Part 3 is kind of shitty. I'm of the opinion that there's a reason why it's not.
Are they all 3 hours?
Yes.
Oh my god.
But they're fucking amazing.
Oh my god.
Maybe not the third one. The third one might be a little shorter, but I want
it's
I know for a fact that the second one it might be longer.
What? Dude.
I could be wrong, but I want to say.
Dude, I'm gonna Wikipedia it. That's intense. But anyways, you have anything else to say before spoilers?
No, that's it. Next to spoilers.
Spoilers! Spoilers.
Spoilers.
I was typing spoilers. I put God spoilers.
All right, so you look at Godfather Part 2, I'll look at Godfather Part 3. 162 minutes.
Mine.
So it's
6, 12, 18. So it's like 2.5 hours. Yours?
yeah, mine's like 2.5. Yeah.
Mine's 200.
Jesus, 6, 12, 18. So that's
Yeah,
like
so
3 hours,
and 20 minutes.
Fuck.
You literally have to do nothing. You can't have anything planned in your fucking goddamn day. By that point, you're awake, watch the movie, bedtime. Like,
The second one is so good.
skip fucking dinner. Like, that's it. Like, that's too long. But then again, I guess we just watched a 4-hour movie and it wasn't that long.
Yeah.
If you can hold my attention, I don't care.
No, it's true. So here's the thing that's... Okay, so a lot of people say that Godfather Part 3 sucks. And the reason why... Okay. It's the same reason why a lot of people say that Dark Knight Rises sucks. So, like, compare it to something...
That movie is fucking amazing.
I think it's a great flick.
Fuck that, whoever said that.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. So...
Well, that's another trilogy that's on this list that we were talking about.
Yeah.
The Dark Knight is on
It's
there.
very funny. I made this fucking rant about how I have to pick the first movie. Ironically, I picked The Dark Knight for this movie.
Yeah,
but
you did.
Doesn't matter. Because Batman Begins isn't one of the greatest movies ever created.
That
But the
movie
Dark
is
Knight,
not great.
No,
The
but
Dark
The Dark
Knight
is one of the greatest movies ever
That's
created.
a masterpiece.
Yeah, so...
Oh, I love Bane. Bane is great.
Bane's great. So, okay, but here's the thing, right? So when the people who wrote those movies, so Christopher Nolan, David Goyer, when they were pitching this trilogy, it was going to be introduction of Batman, and then the introduction of the Joker in the second one, and then the finale was going to be like the Joker versus Batman. If you notice, like, the Dark Knight is very, like, the Joker isn't huge in it. He's not the main villain. Two-Face is. Right? So...
Well, he is because he tripped up Two-Face. But yeah,
and
I
that's
get
the
what you
point,
mean.
right? So it's like the Joker has to beat the Batman in the second one, and so the Batman can beat him in the third one, right? And that's kind of the idea. And then Heath Ledger dies. And it's like, well, what do?
Which one was first, though? Did they decide they were going to... Until Heath Ledger died?
Yeah.
Or did they know that there was not going to be...
No, so they're obviously going to do a third one.
Oh, I did not know that.
And then Heath Ledger died. And then they're like, what do we do? Do we recast him?
No.
It's like, no. Out of respect, we're not going to recast him. So they, on the fly, without setting it up in the first two movies, had to come up with the third story. And that's
intertwining
with the first two. And that's why the third movie
is so displaced.
Exactly. The guy,
except for the first, the guy who trained him.
Yeah, Ra's al Ghul. Yeah, they kind of tried really hard to but it just doesn't work, right? As well as if the Joker was the villain, right? As what they set up. The Godfather Part 3, something similar happened. So the first two movies set up this finale. All right. And Tom Hagen, so Robert Duvall was going to be the main character of the third one. One of the main characters of the third one. And they set it all up for it. And he ended up, I'm not 100% sure what happened, so I'm not going to put any words in anybody's mouths or, whatever. There's a money dispute.
Oh, no.
Between Robert Duvall and Francis Ford Coppola, who directed the movies.
How big the movies are at that point.
100%. And he knew that they needed him. And in the end, Francis Ford Coppola told him to take a hike, pretty much. So they killed him off in between the two movies, so not to ruin anything for people, sorry. But
it's a spoiler, so you're in here.
Yeah, but like off screen, he just kind of they just kind of threw away like, oh yeah, he died. and they had to, from like ground up, make a third story and try to intertwine it with the first two, and it doesn't quite stick the landing because of it. It's kind of the same deal, right?
So you wonder if the third one was going to be a legitimate
100%. Like, if here's the thing, the first two are so good that if they had plans with the third one, it bums me out that they couldn't get Robert Duvall and like figure that shit out, right? But
did the second one win as many awards?
I think it won Best Picture as well.
Really?
I will double check it.
It's actually that good?
It's actually spectacular. And I know what you're thinking. Like, you didn't really like the first one very much.
It's not that I didn't like it. I guess I don't know. Yes, I called it boring and dry, but it is. Like I can have a conversation about it. That's how much I paid attention.
Okay.
I paid attention to it. That's good enough. Cause like, I don't know, when I'm at my house, I have so many things I could be doing, and I watch my movies on my laptop so I can get easily distracted. I try not to.
Okay. The Godfather Part 2 was the first sequel to ever win Best Picture.
No way.
So both Godfather and Godfather Part 2 won Best Picture.
I don't mean to make you go back on Google. See who was against.
Okay. Both of them or just the first one?
First, the second one, the sequel. So I'm curious now. Did Apocalypse Now win anything?
I don't believe so. I did look that up. Oh, this is actually crazy, actually. The Godfather Part 2 was actually against Chinatown and The Conversation. And ironically, Francis Ford Coppola was a producer that's actually very... Oh, yeah, no, okay. Francis Ford Coppola was a producer on both The Conversation and The Godfather Part 2, which I think is kind of funny. But Chinatown is also a spectacular movie. Also not on our list. There's a reason for it. I don't know. If we did like a fifth quarter, it'd probably be on there, but...
Well, there will always be
movies
it should have been on the list, it should have been on the list, it should have been whatever.
100%.
And there are some movies that people are going to see in our list and think it's not worth it. And like Blade Runner.
The movie's amazing.
Blech.
Give me a second. I'm just going to find... There we go.
What are you looking for?
What The Godfather was up against.
Oh, the first one.
Yes. So The Godfather was up against a lot of nothing. It was up against like Deliverance, which was pretty good, but yeah, nothing really. But
so do you think that's why it won?
No, I think it deserves it. I think it was that good. I think it was good enough to win. And The Godfather Part 2 is, like I said, an awesome movie, and I recommend it.
Check it out. Now that I have time, I'll check it out.
So here's the thing. So just talking about The Godfather, what I was gonna kind of alluding to in the first bit, after he kills the fucking villain, I'm trying to remember the guy who tries to kill his dad.
Yeah.
After he kills him and the police captain, you could have ended the movie there.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the end of a movie. Like,
I actually thought he was gonna puss out. I really did.
Okay,
whenever the subway train was above them, and I was like, he's gonna fucking puss out, the fucking loser.
Right? Especially because you expect him because they say it like 10 times. As soon as you walk out of the bathroom, you shoot him in the back of the head. Like, so the fact that he sits down, it's like, oh. I remember the first time I saw the movie, I actually just clearly remember this. I didn't think the gun was going to be loaded. I thought the person who planted the gun...
Sucked.
Yeah, I thought the person who planted the gun was going to fuck him over.
Holding a gun to a cop and you click it, does it go off, and you're like, just kidding. LOL, bye.
Oh boy.
Oh.
But that's the thing, right? So like he kills that guy and a police captain, and then his punishment is he has to go move to Italy. That could have been the end of a movie, actually. Like,
because then he got remarried.
Yeah.
And that was fine.
Yeah.
Have the wedding, and he's a different person. Oh well.
He saved the family. The family's back in business. You could have had the 5 families like, you know what, we're squaring this off, we're fine, kind of thing. Like,
the families could have come down to Italy.
Yeah.
They could have, like, good job, thank you, and Gone.
Could have been, but then there's that like they kill Sonny, which the scene where Tom Hagen tells Don Corleone that Sonny's dead is fucking sad. Actually, like
Yeah.
he just has that like look on his face, like it's kind of like his fault kind of thing. Like, oh, that's pretty fucking sad. That's a pretty good big one.
Who was the guy at the toll booth?
That was Sonny.
That was Sonny? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, which, by the way, let's talk about that scene for a second. I got really pissy with that scene.
Okay.
Let's all just close our eyes for a minute. He pulls up to the toll booth, gives the money,
Yeah.
guy drops the dime,
Yeah.
car would not move, honks,
Yeah.
the guy stands up. Right there. How long do you think that took? That whole sequence? Probably 2 minutes, 3 minutes?
I see what you're saying. You should have seen it coming.
No.
Oh.
No. How long?
I don't know.
3 minutes,
Probably
let's
like,
say?
we'll say a minute and a half.
Let's
Yeah.
say, because you gotta get the chain, you gotta get the money.
Yeah.
Let's say 2 minutes. There was a car following him that was 2 minutes behind him. Bullshit.
He was fired up. Okay.
Bullshit. Okay?
Yeah.
No. You are following somebody. Oh, but it gets better. He dies. And then everybody goes in a circle, hops in their cars, and leave. Which is an extra like 45 more seconds.
Yeah.
That car was 3 minutes behind him. Following him in quotations. You're an idiot.
Yeah.
First off, you are the worst followers of all fucking time.
You're bad bodyguards. Yeah.
But really, because then the car sped off, and then like, it took so long, I forgot they were following him. And then the car pulls up, and I'm like, well, that was stupid. You should have been literally right behind. That was your fucking job, was to follow him.
Yeah.
And if they were where they were supposed to be, which is behind him, then the guys would have died, and they would have got justice for Sonny. So it was their fault. Sorry. I
Blaming
thought
the
about
bodyguards.
that. I'm fucking fired about that scene because it's stupid.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. Anyways, that's what I meant in the first portion of the non-spoilers was he knew that man was going to hit his sister again. He knew it.
Oh, 100%.
Why wouldn't you kill him the first time?
It's your sister's fucking husband.
And the second time he says the same thing. You think I'm going to make my nephew, whatever he said, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not going to. Bam! Kills him. You guys know what he is going to do 4 steps before he does.
Yeah, it's pretty. I think it's pretty rewarding or like satisfying when Michael kills him in the end. I feel really good about it.
But really, like beating him up in an alley, like you think that was going to stop anything? For someone who's going to hit your sister, he is fucking angry that the sister told her brother he's going to go home an angry man because the sister ratted. What do you think he's going to do to the sister?
Yeah.
Beat the shit out of her.
Yeah, but that's because that's what lures Sonny in, right? That's how they kill him.
Right.
So he was working for the villain too. So like that's fuck that guy.
So the guy was beating up the sister and she locked herself in the bathroom and then he comes in with a belt, which, by the way, would fucking hurt.
Oh my god.
All right. And she's holding a knife and she's still, anyways.
Yeah, and
okay,
he's got fucking balls to do that to like Don Corleone's daughter.
That's twice.
Yeah.
It's like you saw what happened the first time and you don't think he's gonna do it again? You're nuts. And by the way he sped off was so much like you, it was unreal. If I called my brother and I was like, dude, a man's hitting me, I need you here. He didn't blink. He didn't breathe the wrong direction. He turned around, walked to his car. He's like, yeah, I'll be there in a few minutes. It's like Buddy in Pulp Fiction. It's a 27-minute drive, arrives in 12 minutes. It's like that. It's like Mr. Wolf. But yeah, okay, I see what your point with, you can't really take anything out of The Godfather. That's fine.
Yeah, if you took something out, it'd like be like dominoes.
I
right?
completely agree because what's happening is something happens to the family. The Godfather kind of stabs them a bit. They come retaliate and then they die.
Yeah.
So it's like 4 turns with these people.
And it's also very satisfying too at the very end when Michael kills all of them.
Yeah.
It's pretty satisfying too. Like.
By the way, I guess the horse head was real. I did not know that.
Really? Okay, so your first time seeing the movie, I'm assuming you've seen that scene before, though, right?
No.
You didn't see that coming at all?
The only time I've ever seen that was in How I Met Your Mother with who's the main character? How I Met Your Mother?
Allison Hannigan? You talking about Lily?
Yeah, Lily.
Yeah.
And there was a boy running around her kindergarten acting like a fool, and he had a toy horse. And he wakes up from nap time, and the horse head is in his bed, and he like screams, and she's like smiling. That is the only time I've ever seen that.
Okay.
I've never seen that.
It's fucked up, right?
It's fucking weird.
Because he's so fucking ballsy. He's like, you think I'm afraid of you? And then literally the next scene is that he wakes up with the horse's head in his...
I did not understand what was happening because there was so much blood.
Yeah.
Because he woke up and he was dripping. And I'm like, I know, I honestly had no fucking idea what was going to happen. Not a fucking clue. Yeah, I was not expecting it.
Because even usually... yeah, no, okay.
I know these references. I just don't know where they're from.
Yeah.
So I went... Oh, got it. How I Met Your Mother. I get it. So there are some turns that are like that. I know Godfather gets ripped on all the time.
Oh, yeah.
With the cat and stuff.
I mean, Apocalypse Now gets probably ripped on too a lot. But
I don't even know.
my
One of my favorite scenes that made me laugh was when they're in the car with the cannolis and they shoot the guy in the back of the head and they're getting, and he's like, dish the car and the gun. Grab the cannolis. Apparently that was completely like just... That was not scripted.
Thing now. I want those fucking cannolis. There's a reason why we stopped for those.
It's just picturing the wife. You can see he has like almost like a fear of his wife, where he's like, if I go home with these fucking cannolis, I'm gonna get bitched at. So he was like, all right, grab the cannolis. He was more worried about getting yelled at by his wife than killing a person.
I have a question. What did you think of Michael and Kay's relationship?
Was it the first one or the second one? Oh, no, that was the first one.
Diane Keaton's character. Sorry, I apologize. Kay is the girl that he like kind of ditches and then comes back to and marries at the end.
So, because he came back as like a war hero or something.
Well, he was a war hero from the beginning.
Right. So that was the first time we met Kay.
Yeah.
At the wedding. I was going to ask you, what happens? Does he marry twice?
Yeah, he got married to her a second time. He got married a second time, yeah.
So he never left the first wife?
But she died.
Yeah, I missed that.
Oh.
Oops.
Okay. Well, that was my next question, is what did you think of the death scene of his first wife? So...
I must have watched it, I just don't remember.
Sonny dies.
I just watched it last night.
I know. I'll clarify it.
Sonny dies.
Sonny dies. And then the guy says... your brother died. It's not safe here. We gotta fucking get you the fuck out of here. And at that time, he's teaching his wife how to drive.
When they're driving in the circle.
Yeah. So then he tells his bodyguard, "Hey, could you pull the car around? We have to get the fuck out of here," kind of thing. And then he's like, "Oh, actually, your wife said she wanted to surprise you. She's learning how to drive. She's doing very well. She's going to get the car." And he's like, all right, cool. So he goes to get the bag, and then he comes out, and then he notices his bodyguard, walking in the opposite direction. And he's like, hey, where are you going? And then he, looks, and then he, kind of runs away. He's like, what the fuck? And then he looks at the car, and then she turns on the car, and it explodes. And you don't remember this?
No.
Well, that's a lot. Because then, so she blows up, and then the next time you see Michael is when he goes to see Kay in the street. She's with all the preschoolers.
Right.
And he's been back for a year, apparently.
Which is funny, because I remember the circle. I remember them driving in the circle together.
It's pretty quick. They don't really reference it again. They don't bring it up again, so I could see...
Well, I thought it was weird that, they came back and they were almost together almost immediately, because she's like, how long have you been back for? And he's like, I've been back a year.
Which is crazy that they skip a year in 5 seconds. He pretty much... They have the meeting with the 5 families. He hugs the one guy who killed Sonny.
Yeah.
And then the next scene is Michael saying, I'll be back for a year.
I remember the scene with the 5 families. When he says, have I ever refused a call from you? And they all said no. And he's like, this is me being honest with you. We're done.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, again, if I Met Your Mother, with the Barney Stinson. And they all have their little parts in New York. And he's like... I don't know if you remember that. And he's like, this is whatever Barnettson from West New York and this from North New York, and it's a group. But spoiler alert, he poisons everybody at the table.
Oh, okay.
I thought that's what was gonna happen.
Oh no, that was...
So I was like, we were another spoiler, and it wasn't.
No, but this is when he finds out that the other guy is actually responsible for everything.
Right.
Like the shorter guy who's like at the head of the table, who is in the elevator at the very end, who gets shot with the shotgun.
Yeah.
Which again, super satisfying when that elevator door opens and he like looks, he's like, and then the guy like fucking kicks him in there and then pulls a shotgun up, ba-boom, ba-boom. I'm like, oh yeah, that's satisfying. Fuck that guy.
Well, this is really, really hard for Michael, especially when you have a very, very intense family who literally everybody wants to either kill or be on your side.
Yeah.
Now you have to run it.
Yeah.
That's hard to like think of your dad's steps the entire time.
It's true, but do you think of all of his sons, so we're even counting...
Nobody else can do it.
Exactly. Even Don Corleone was like, Sonny was a shitty fucking leader because he's too angry all the time.
That's what he said.
And Fredo's a fucking... He's a wuss.
He said we need someone who is...
who's playing chess. You know what I mean?
Who thinks properly, who can sit down in an angry situation.
Yeah.
Because, Sonny's the one that keeps beating the guy up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only other person is Tom Hagen, but he's not like blood son. He's just like an adopted son.
So
and he's not
listen.
Sicilian. He's Irish German, isn't he? So...
And the opening bit, which is really sad, is you kind of feel for Vito, right? Because the one guy asks him for a favor, and he's like, I'm the godfather of your kid. And the guy's like, yeah. And he's like, when have you ever invited me over to your house?
Yeah. It's like, but now all of a sudden.
Yeah. And it kind of made me sad where I'm like, all these people are so, like, scared of you, yet they want something from you, but...
Except for fucking Brazio. I thought that was like my favorite thing where he's like practicing outside.
Thank you very much for inviting me into your home on the day of your daughter's wedding.
Here's some money. Thank you. And he gives him a hug. I know you're a busy man.
Yeah.
You have yourself a good day.
And he's like, thank you, friend. And he walks out the room.
Like, he's the only one that doesn't want anything from him. Like, I fucking love that.
But that's the thing, though, is out of all the fucking people in the world, I would invite that man over once a week at my house to make sure he's on my side.
Me too.
Godfather, do you want some tea? Come over. Back rub? I'll do it. Please, please, please. Just to make sure that awkwardness that happened never happens.
100%. And you gotta admit that fucking mortician got off lucky.
Yeah.
When he came back for that favor. Because he could have asked for fucking anything.
Right.
The Godfather killed 2 guys for him.
Right.
And all he said is I don't want my son to look like this. Like, I don't want his mother to see him like this. Like, do your job and fucking make him look good.
And that was it.
And that was it. That's the favor. It's
because he even says whenever the guy walks out, and he's like, I don't know if I ever will call you.
Yeah.
But if I do,
you better
do not refuse this call. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you're right. And that's all he asked for. Because whenever he said, like, who do you want me to call? And he said his name, I went...
It's like, what do you want? Because it was right after Sonny died, right? So it was like, what does he want him to do?
Right, and then he's like, I just make sure he's done right. Yeah, and I was like, oh, that was it. Like, do your job the best you've ever done it.
Yeah.
For free, because I killed 2 men for your daughter.
Yeah. You know. Who fucking deserve to die? Those 2 guys.
Yes, absolutely.
And
then the part when the dad's in the hospital and they had to move rooms. And the guy, the baker?
Yeah.
I thought...
And he's like, pretend you have a gun?
Man, I was like, oh shit, this baker is here to kill the father, but Michael doesn't know. So now Michael and him are going to hang out, and he's going to fucking kill the dad. Shit.
I know, yeah. I thought the same thing. I remember thinking the same thing. I thought
he was a bad guy.
Even this time, I was like, I've seen this movie 100 times, and I still feel like this guy's shady.
Because it's just the way he's like, Michael, I'm just the baker. And he's like... Oh, perfect. This is where my dad is. Okay, here's the whole layout. Here's the plan. I'm like, Michael, shut the fuck up. What are you doing? Stop it. Yeah, I know. And then the nurse was like, you're not allowed in here. And he's like, I'm Michael. And she goes, oh, okay.
Actually, speaking of fucking cake decorators, I also love, too, you were talking about Like how all of these people are just expecting favors out of this guy.
Yeah.
I love how like I don't even remember what the fuck he asked for, but he was asking for something. Like they just cut to this guy asking for something, and it was something really like small and insignificant. And then he's like, "Oh, by the way, I can't wait till you taste the cake. It's so big and voluptuous. I made it just the best, just for you." It's like even the fucking cake decorator's asking for shit today. Like
But that's what's sad is, all this stuff. Okay, this is where I said earlier, like, nobody will invite him over for coffee. This is where you still feel bad for him. This is the only time all these people have seen this man is on his daughter's wedding day.
it's true.
There was no other time in the foreseen future or in the past that they could have sat down in this conversation.
100%.
Like, that just broke my heart, where I'm like, this poor old man.
And all of these people owe their like fortunes to him. Like,
Right.
do you know what I mean? Like,
They're all,
like
well, how many, okay, so he's pronounced as the Godfather. How many Godfather?
I think I don't know. Because the only person that he's a godfather to is that guy's.
Is the first guy.
So I think it's just because the opening scene, he
That's
refers to him as the godfather because he's the godfather of his kid. But I don't think they refer to him. And then Michael becomes the godfather to his sister's kid.
Which is another reference that I know off of Modern Family.
What's that?
Was they were christening?
Yeah, christening.
Baptizing?
Yeah.
Gloria and Ed's,
The Jay?
well, Jay, baby, and Phil is the godfather, and they're dipping the water, and there were problems with all the kids in their lives, and Phil goes around and just like fixes all the problems, but shadily in a way he shouldn't have, but it's all playing out while they're dipping the baby, and they say like the words, and I was like, I know this scene, I know this, but it's Phil doing everything.
Yeah.
Boy, on The Godfather, it's all the guys doing.
Yeah.
All the bad. Which is perfect in my point of view, because everybody and photos and God knows where Michael was.
Yeah.
So
It's
he
true.
had nothing to do with it. Hands up. Y'all saw me there.
And I love it too. Like, first of all, there's a couple of things I like about that ending. Like we were talking about that montage, super satisfying. I do really like the scene too, when the guy, because the Godfather right before he dies says, "The person who asks you for this meeting is the traitor." So when that guy comes up to him and he's like, I think it's at the funeral, he's like, "Hey, so and so wants to meet."
Right.
That's when he realizes that guy's the traitor. And then so at the very end, they like kill everybody, and then that guy's like expecting a fucking ride somewhere, and Tom Hagen's like, "You know what? It's just gonna be you going on this ride. No one else is going." And that's when the guy realizes that he's dead, and like they caught on. And then he's like, "Is there anything you could do for me, Tom?" He's like, "Not this time, buddy." And he's like, "Just tell him I said sorry." Like I don't know why. Like there's something super interesting about this guy, and he's kind of trying anything to like get out of it. You could do me a favor, right, Tom? And he's like,
Right.
"Not this time, man." And then it's just like, tell him I'm sorry. It was
Whose
just
side do I
business.
want to be on?
Yeah.
A dead man's or the... No matter what, you're dead, motherfucker.
Oh,
whether I
you're
help you
fucked,
right now or
yeah.
not. Or I could be on the Godfather's side. So is Michael... Oh, I see what you're saying. Michael is the Godfather
Because
as
he's the
well.
godfather of the...
Because he's the Godfather.
Yeah.
And the kid who Vito was playing with at the end.
Yeah.
When he
I
dies.
believe that's Sonny's kid, isn't it?
I don't know. That's
could
what
be
I'm
wrong.
asking you.
Or maybe it's Michael's kid. Michael has kids at the end. No. Yeah. I don't fucking
I know, I just fucking watched it. I'm telling you, when you
I want to say
watch
it's
this
one-
many
I wanna
movies...
say, yeah, me too. I want to say it was Sonny's kid.
It was because I watched like 4 movies after this one, so I'm
Yeah.
getting them all mixed
I watched
up.
a shitload of movies too.
This and Taxi Driver is like merging together, and I had to like keep separating them. Nope, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
But honestly, I know we've been talking forever about this fucking...
Yeah.
Honestly, I actually kind of enjoyed Godfather.
It's a
it
good
was
flick.
very long, dry, and boring.
Yeah.
But like now talking about it, I'm like, okay, it's actually not that bad.
It's good. The only thing, I don't know, the only thing that bugs me every time I watch it, I don't know why, it's just one of those like weird like little things. I don't like the fact that he lies to her at the very end. She like asks the
Because
question, and he's like,
it was such a specific question.
yeah, but he's like, this one time, I'll give you one question, and then that's it. So think about it and then ask me. And then she asks him, and he lies to her. I don't know why. I kind of want, and maybe that's the point of the movie, to show that like his descent. Because like at the beginning of the movie, he would have never lied to her, and maybe that's and that's the point. Is like he's definitely like the villain now almost. But I don't know. It's just it bums me out that like he should just be honest, because he's super honest with her in the opening bit. Right. When she's like, "How do you know Johnny Fontaine?" Like, "Oh, what is an offer you can't refuse me?" And he's like, he put a fucking gun to his head, and he said, "If you don't sign this contract, we're gonna fucking kill you." Like, right. And then she's like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's a true story." Like, he's so honest with her. Like, what's the difference between I don't know?
See, I think there could be two ways to look at it. Either he doesn't want to be. Might not want his wife to feel the way that every other person in the world feels about him.
That's also very true.
Which is scared, frightened, concerned, or whatever.
Okay.
Also, maybe he feels like once he tangles his wife and telling her what's going on, now she's a part of it.
Okay.
And now she's involved. And she is now at a risk because of blah, 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 whatever. Because I can tell you, if I was shady as fuck, I would not tell my husband. Yeah. I would probably say, it's my business. Are you happy? Are we happy?
Yeah.
The bills are paid. Don't worry, I'm fine. I'm not going to get hurt. I'm fine. Which really, Vito did not die from a sniper.
Oh, I mean.
He did. He did.
I like to think that he died from complications of that. It was like natural causes, but I think...
But he did something first. What did he do first? And it was like, okay, he deserved it. He did something very shady. And they were like, all right, nope. And they killed him.
What, Vito Corleone?
Yeah.
No, the guy came up and offered him... he's like, I want your police connections so I can move drugs. And Vito Corleone's like, I don't like moving drugs. That was the first thing he ever did. So then that drug guy was like, all right, fine. And then he killed Brazio.
Right.
Who was like the guy that was, and then he shot him in the back. Because he knew that Sonny and Tom Hagen were actually on board with it. Right. Because Tom Hagen's like, he's of the opinion that in 10 years, everybody's going to run drugs, and that's going to be where all the money comes from. Which he's fucking 100% correct.
He's right. So they needed Vito out, but little did they know that Michael was going to run it.
And that's where that fucking came. Yeah, so like, yeah. And then it's just one of those things. It's like, and then he kind of, and then the villain character kind of expected everything to be business, you know what I mean? And Michael couldn't, they couldn't let that happen, right? So Michael had to kill him, kill the captain, and then that's what started the war with the 5 families.
Now that I think about it, now I'm thinking about the whole lying to his wife thing. Yeah, I'm really sad now about that.
Yeah, it bums me out.
Because you're right. Because, like, especially when he said, like, you have this one time.
Yeah.
Any question you want.
It's like, why not just be honest with her? Yeah.
No, it's not. And that's all it was I killed people. Yeah. How do you not fucking know that?
Yeah.
It was like the easiest question. It wasn't like anything.
But it was.
How many people have you killed? It was about the newspapers.
Yeah.
Because the guy was like, if you want to know how many people you killed, look at the newspapers. And that's why she said, is it true? I didn't kill shit. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's a good point.
I was with you. We were dunking that fucking baby. God watched me. All right? I'm a Godfather. That's what the fuck I was. Yeah, the first thing I would have said completely beat around the bush. That is my number one strategy in my life. I beat around the bush every time, if I can. Mm-hmm. I don't fucking tell anybody the direct truth anymore. If I could, I didn't kill anybody. He did. But did he? He did. He did.
100% did.
He did. There's no fingerprints. Yeah. He did do shit.
All right. Let's move on to Apocalypse Now. We've been talking about Godfather.
Yeah, but this one's going to be like 5 minutes.
Yeah. I really like Apocalypse Now.
Tell me why you like it. Try and veer me away.
I don't know what it is about it that I like. One, there's something super, like, colorful about it. I love the music. I don't know. There's just, it's a feeling. There's something weird about it that I really like. Like, I do agree that it gets repetitive. It's a lot of like, all right, we're on a river, and then we meet these people, and then these people, and these people. Like the whole French like
And then he meets
plantation.
this part of the war people on this beach, and then this beach,
and it's just how
this
like,
guy doesn't have a leader, and this one, it's like, fuck.
and it's I find the movie so fascinating because it's so like pro-America in a weird way, because it's like Americans gonna get it done, but it's so like anti or like pro-war, but like so anti-war as well, because it's so like every place they show up to, there's no fucking leader.
Right.
It's just a bunch of people that are like, what leader? What are you talking about? Like, it's like, ugh.
He's like, what are you, who's like,
Yeah, who's in charge?
right? And they're like, I just do what I'm told. And he's like, yeah, well, who's telling you? That's what I'm
Yeah, exactly.
asking.
Nobody knows. It's like this
Right.
weird thing, which is very funny because when he finally reaches Captain Kurtz, there's a definitive leader. Like, even
Right.
though it's a fucking weird cult, like, it's, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know
Why was he looking for this guy?
Because he was, that's the mission. He has to go assassinate him.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, so Kurtz started a fucking cult in the middle of in Vietnam and is like recruiting an army. He's like sucking people into like his religious organization. So the main character was sent to kill him. That's the mission. So the boat doesn't know what the people on the boat don't know what he's doing.
Right, because then he's like, go up another 2 more clicks or whatever, and the guy's like, that's Cambodia.
Yeah.
I'm not going. And he's like, drop me off there and you guys can go.
Exactly, right?
Whoa. Excuse me, sorry. My brain went too fast. I hate stuttering. I'm gonna say it again. What character were you sad about?
When the youngest kid died. It's only because of the reaction of the captain of the boat.
Whenever like the guy had to take over, like,
Yeah, and the kid gets shot.
it's like whenever the guy is doing the smoke or whatever.
Yeah.
The purple haze or whatever.
Yeah. And then the kid gets shot, but he's listening to the tape from his mom. Oh. So the captain walks
they're all
up.
reading the letters.
Yeah, and he puts the tape on the kid's body, and it's still going. Like his mom, and what his mom is talking. Maybe it's not his mom at this point. Maybe it's like his sisters or something. But they're talking about how like we just got you a new car for when you get home. It's gonna be like this. We can't wait. And it's like the kid's just laying there dead, and you're like, oh my god, this is really fucking sad. But like that's probably so what war is like. I don't know. Like I don't. You know what I mean? I've obviously never been to war. I don't plan on joining the army anytime soon. But like that's probably what it's like. It's just. I don't know. That probably happens a lot. It's fucking sad.
That's what fucking breaks my heart when I was at the World Trade Center thing, and it was the voicemails. That's what got me.
Oh, yeah.
I have never seen Mom cry ever in my life until that day.
Yeah.
It took 25 years, and it was the voicemails because they're so quick. Like, imagine the mother knowing. So it's like, hey, we're going down. I love you. Say hi to my mom. Tell her I love her. I'm sorry I can't be there. Bye. Yeah. And it's just like, oh my God, you know, and right? That's so sad.
That's sad.
Like knowing, like that sucks. That all that excitement, and then what are they gonna do? You know, they're gonna get the message. What, in a month?
Yeah.
That the son died.
Man, like
after probably sending him another tape.
Yeah, really though, and they're not gonna have a body to bury. Like they
Nothing.
buried it in
because he put
Vietnam.
it in the lake.
So, but yeah, and then so. I like the main character. I love the fucking narration. We were talking about narration a couple episodes ago.
The narration in this was good.
It's so good.
That whole part with the woman and the drapes on the bed
was weird. Yeah.
I don't like that whole scene.
Anything with the French plantation was weird, except for I don't know why the dinner party scene with like when they're at the table.
See, I was gonna say cut that out with the accordion and shit.
Oh,
cut it out.
I 100% agree. I would totally cut that scene out. But when he's talking about how like. Well, what happens when everything goes back to normal? And the guy's like, we don't fucking leave, dude. Like, you guys go, you fucking Americans willy-nilly leave and come in and fuck shit up. We're here for the long haul. Like, this is my home. Like, and I kind of like, because it's kind of like because you kind of need that. Like, somebody to be like, hey, like.
This is bad.
This is fucked up, right? Like, because. I don't know, because it's
The whole movie is pro-war, we're doing the good thing.
right, and that's it. So,
The beginning part, when he's going all crazy and smashing the mirror and shit, was that, like, pre or sequel?
oh, you mean after the movie? Like, after he
Yeah.
gets... Oh, it's pre, I think, isn't it? Yeah.
He seems a little fucked up to go and be a leader, doesn't he?
Well, that's it, right? It's like he's been in war a whole bunch, and that's the whole thing, right? And that's what he says is like the funny thing about war is the entire time you're at war, all you talk about is going home, but when you're at home, all you talk about is going back, and like it's like that weird thing where
I thought it was
no,
a sequel.
He's just suffering from PTSD, I think.
Because I know that whole blood thing was the same thing with Leonardo DiCaprio and the
Yeah,
Django.
it was just an accident.
Yeah, and he was just kind of like, fuck, I'm going to go with it. He didn't rub the blood on somebody else. Leonardo did not need to do that. That poor chick went home that night and she's like, honey, best day of my life. Get undressed. I got Leonardo blood all over me. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like that part was so, like, I felt that. That was really sad.
Yeah, and then
He's having like a legitimate meltdown.
But he's so professional though when he's in the presence of
Right.
like all of his like
He
superiors.
didn't really do anything bad. He's just sitting there.
He's just
The guy's like surfing or whatever, and he's just.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think he was with the women, was he? I don't even think he was with the women.
No.
So he's that professional.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? So I like the movie. I think it's just an interesting watch. And then it gets to Colonel Kurtz and like that, and the movie goes from it fucking cranks it to 12. It's like,
Right.
like there's the scene when, and first of all, Dennis Hopper is amazing as like the photographer.
Yeah.
He's so good in this movie.
When he's like, look at me, look at me, look at me. Perfect. Yep. Just like that. Keep going.
And you gotta like, he's always taking pictures of shit. Like, how does he
the
have
bodies were like hanging and stuff?
How does he have film? It kind of implies that he doesn't have film. He's just like taking pictures of things. He's fucking crazy. Like
That's funny.
like stuff like that. Like, but yeah, I like. There's the one scene where he's talking about like oh no, and he's talking like Colonel Kurtz. He's the fucking man. He's like the leader, and he's like, you're weirded out. It's the heads, right? And like you can see fucking people's heads just like. He goes a little crazy. He goes a little overboard sometimes, you know? It's just like, it's just the way he is. It's like, what the fuck am I watching right now?
Yeah.
It's like
I remember coming up, they weren't legitimately hanging. They had like rope on their backs or something.
Yeah.
But there were so many bodies hanging from these trees. And I'm like, that was the introduction. Was, there's, okay, lots of dead people. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And just these people just around like it's normal.
And he's like reading poems and shit. Like he reads like the Hollow Men.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck? And then like, so I don't know. He's so good. And I know we talked about earlier about how like he kind of showed up. He was supposed to be fitter, and like he showed up kind of not knowing his lines. I think it works so well for his character. He's so fucking, he's such a space cadet. And then so when another satisfying, like when he dies, it's like, thank God this guy's finally fucking dead. Like, and I love how
Movie is over.
and I love how Lance is the only person who survives.
Yeah, really.
But anyway, that's all I got. I don't know. I don't really know how to explain why I like Apocalypse Now so much. I just really, really fucking do. And I'm obviously not alone. A lot of people like that movie, so.
Yeah, the movie is not great. So.
Either way, Godfather moves on. Apocalypse Now, fucking amazing movie. If you haven't watched it, I recommend it. It's very, very fucking good. So.
I don't. But Godfather, yes.
Either way.
Bye, 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 bye.